welcome back to my studio. I hope you are well. Maybe grab a drink or some snacks and come and sketch with me. Today I would like to take you through my character design process for a character that I've been cooking up for quite a while. She is a part of teaching staff at the magical school that I'm creating, and I've been thinking about her character and kind of character themes quite a lot, so I'm really excited to finally find time to make her real. I feel like for me, my characters only start really getting real once I have like a full reference and everything for them. I will be using a wide array of different medias today. I will explain as I go, so sit back and enjoy the video. So to kind of get into the details of who this character is, her name is Helena Nightshade, and she is a life arts teacher at Novus Anki Academy of the Magical Arts. So her character is this quite stern and almost scary looking teacher that at her core is actually very well-meaning. I have this image of a black swan in my head, and when I hear black swan, I think of Odile from Swan Lake, which then reminds me of ballet. And I also wanted to kind of make a character based off the ballet teacher in Phantom of the Opera. I quite like her character because throughout the show she is this quite stern and strict teacher, but she also very much cares for Christine and the ballet dancers, so it kind of shows quite a range in her character, which I really appreciate. I'm a big fan of these like stoic, strict characters that are well-meaning and also show that they are well-meaning. I find there's something very comforting to find in that. So it's all these kind of different concepts adding up in my head. And I actually used to dance ballet when I was like really young, like I'm talking like 4 years old. And I remember I really did not like my ballet teacher. She was this strict lady, and I only have like this vague picture of her in my head. And I grew up in a town, so she was kind of like the ballet teacher. You have like the ballet teacher and the hip-hop teacher, so it's like there's not that many to pick from. So when other girls in my schools who were still dancing ballet were talking about ballet, you would ask, oh, who are you with? There was my ballet teacher and there was another teacher, I remember. But anyways, that teacher's name was Helena. And at the time, I did not like Helena because she was really strict. And I really tried to get on her good side. But I feel I think she was just too strict for me, like as a 4-year-old. Because I was a very soft 4-year-old. I cried easily, I got frustrated easily, and I gave up ballet so quickly. It's not even funny. I think my parents were so done with me. But as I kind of grew older and I'm like, hey, who are you with? Like, you know, who are you dancing with? It's always Helena. And I've always heard that she was a really good teacher. And then I remember one time the bus passes like past where I used to dance ballet. There was a bus station there, and she got on the bus. And that was when I was in like grade 6 or 7. And she got in the bus and I immediately recognized her. But she recognized me too. And then she started talking to me and I'm like, oh my gosh, she is really, really nice. And she's like, oh, you grew up so nicely. And this person that I used to really not like in my 4-year-old head was actually this really gentle person. So that's why I decided to name her Helena, because while I was kind of conceptualizing the character, she was just a Helena to me. This misunderstood by the students kind of character. Right now you can just see me do like initial sketches in my sketchbook with the Prismacolor erasable pens. I've bought a 12-pack of these to try out, and I'm always like in a limbo between on if I like them or not, because like right now for these sketches they were great. I really, really liked them, but I also like when I did with the red color I really didn't like it. So I don't know if the pigments are like inconsistent or if I'm just like stupid. Probably I'm stupid, but yeah, I really liked it this time around. So who is Helena Nightshade? There is an order of witches in my organization called the Avian Order of Witches, and it is an organization comprised of witches dedicating their life magic, which is a discipline of magic. It's related to like animals and stuff, and they're specifically dedicated to birds. I have a few other characters that are a part of this order. For example, my character Dale, who is kind of themed around sparrows, or Ezra and Raymond, who are a blue jay and a finch, red finch specifically. So when I'm given the opportunity to kind of like build out a character with like a theme that I already have in my head and kind of connect it to larger world building, I tend to grasp at that opportunity because it makes my world feel so much more like lived in, if that makes sense. So her story is a little bit different. She's not just a normal member of this order. While her concept initially started off with her being centered around a crow or a raven, it eventually spiraled down to black swans because I got into a very severe ballet hole. Like, I do not know what's up with me right now. I'm obsessed with ballet, like watching ballet. Giselle is coming to my country and I'm like literally begging anyone to go with me. I will be going alone, but it's like, I don't know. I find there's something so beautiful around it, especially now when I know how hard ballet actually is and how much strength you have to think. I think there's something so beautiful in like being able to move so gracefully with so much like muscle and strength in you. I think that's amazing. And it's gotten to the point where I'm like listening to the music that they dance to in school, which is like a whole different thing because like I'm not really a classical music enjoyer, but I am now apparently. So yeah, Raven to Black Swan. But in the underlying, of my mind, I was like, you know what? It doesn't really matter because I was reminded of this character that I did when I was like 13, I think. It was for my back then main project, and he was a phoenix. Not like a bird phoenix, but I was thinking about the concepts of ghosts and resentment and how resentment can keep you in this world. And I'm like, okay, but what if you twist it, and what if something else keeps you in this world after death? What if like you have a dream that you really want to achieve, or like a burning passion that keeps you in this world and doesn't allow you to die? And I think that's kind of how phoenixes are. This kind of like rising from the ashes, something burning, something fiery. So I made him a phoenix because he was very petty and he had a dream he wanted to achieve. And then I never drew him after that. But I was reminded of that and I was like, hey, wouldn't it be really cool to have her be a phoenix? So she's not actually like a human, she's already dead. And she probably has this really tragic backstory. So I'll get more into that later or another time. I have not decided yet. So now I have the concept of like a black phoenix or a dark phoenix in my head. And it's a little bit ominous, but I have this image of a swan eating a crow getting eaten by a phoenix in my head, which I really, really want to draw one day because I think it would be really cool because it kind of shows how, these different identities that people just assume about her and how they kind of unravel, because in my head no one knows she's a phoenix. And that specifically also later involves with her cape. She wears this like feathery cape, and she also has a large set of black wings that kind of blend into like the cape to hide it. And I'll highlight that later once I do the final reference sheet. But that was kind of just what I was thinking about because I thought it would look cool, because I'm like, I want this design to be the featheriest feathery design, and I really just want her to have an interesting silhouette while also having the design elements kind of blend with each other to almost kind of hint a bit of like at a metamorphosis. So yeah, this kind of getting mistaken for a crow, getting mistaken for a raven, for black swans. I like building a character that is often defined by other people's assumptions. And when I eventually, aka never, do my comic or web novel or something, I want the girls to, speculate and have opinions about her before actually getting to know her, because there's something quite fascinating about how we as people like perceive each other based off of assumptions without never really knowing each other. So yeah, you can tell I've been doing way too much English. Shout out to The Doll's House, and The Great Gatsby. Yeah. Oh, here I'm just trying out like different corsets. I knew I wanted her to kind of have this layered corset and then these like feathery sleeves, which I was like totally infatuated with. I love the feathery sleeves. I think those are like the favorite part of like the whole design. Yeah. And then as I was kind of like thinking further, I feel like she couldn't have always been a phoenix. So did she just start being part of the avian order after she became one? But then like, how would they let her in? It was this whole thing. And then literally like yesterday, as I was thinking about it, I feel like in her past life, she would have been a black swan. So she still has that identity until that phoenix eventually just kind of ate it up. And now she's a phoenix. Yeah, that's it. Right, so here's me just kind of finishing up the sketchbook page. I also had this idea for like a cane, and I'll explain why a bit later. But yeah, time to take it digital. I kept my sketchbook next to me as I worked just to kind of reference it. And I wanted to kind of draw her in like a more passive pose while still kind of highlighting the cane. So I experimented a little bit with poses and flipped it around a few times until it eventually looked good. I was debating in what style I wanted to work, but I think I kind of switched to like a more thin line arty, less scribbly style that I usually do. This is just a sketch. And then surprisingly, I did take it to grayscale, which is funny because I kind of hate working in grayscale. I don't know why I did that. I just felt like it today. I added a little bit more detail to the accessories because I felt like she was more elaborate in my head than her design actually was. So I just added that as I went, and I think it fit quite well. Line work, not a lot to say about this. Anyways, while all of this is playing, let me tell you a bit more about the cane, because I was thinking about that quite a lot because I had it as like an accessory in mind because I thought it looked cool, but I was like, it would be kind of stupid to give a character a cane just off of aesthetics. So I was thinking first, should I take it out? Is it really necessary? And I was thinking about it, yeah, it is necessary, because hear me out. Phoenixes, when they're reborn from ashes, they go through this like cycle of being reborn and then dying and then like regaining their strength. And I feel she goes very much through the same cycles. This might even just be her first time being reborn, so she is still a lot more human than other phoenixes. But she has to use the cane to help her walk and stand. She can probably walk and stand without it, just for not that long, because in my head she's right now like at a stage where she is regaining that strength. She is powerful, obviously. She is a very skilled witch even before her death, but physically she still has to regain her strength after rebirth. So I thought, the cane would fit very well. And in my world, like, humans need an arcane focus or a spell casting tool to help them cast magic, and so that like the inherent nature of magic doesn't fuck them up. And that is like exclusive to humans only. Like, they're the only ones who like need them. So non-humans posing as humans would still kind of need to have one. And I thought it would be really cool if her arcane focus in quotation marks, because she technically doesn't need one, is a cane. Because the cane looks cool. Like, it has a bird around it. Come on, guys. So, yeah, I think canes look really cool. I saw a few people, because I was researching canes and stuff on TikTok, and they were, like, decorating their canes and everything with, like, keychains or, like, cane chains. That looked really cool. I was debating giving her one, because I was really obsessed with them, because they're really cute. But I experimented with it, but I feel like her silhouette is already so, or like she's so textured. Her silhouette is simple, but she's very textured. And I feel like adding that little dangle would have just overcomplicated design and kind of obscured the silhouette. So yeah, we had to sacrifice the cane dangle. No keychain for the dangle. Yeah, anyways, grayscale done. Here I'm experimenting with a bunch of different colors. I ended up going with the first one. I just cooked with the first one. Sorry, guys. But I genuinely was going to be like pulling a concept artist and be like, okay, guys, I'm going to try experimenting. No, I was right. First try. I really liked it. Yeah, I rendered it a little bit more. I added some rim lighting too, just because I thought it looked cool. I'm really obsessed with this like red light, which you're gonna see come in later too. So yeah, here's the reference. I tried some fancy stuff with the frames. And yeah, I hope you guys like her. Here I was kind of talking about the wings, how she uses the cape to hide her wings. So like this is how her wings stick out in general. So they're obviously way too big to hide. So the way that she hides her, the fact that she's a phoenix, is by layering a second cape over it. So the cape is made from her shed feathers, so it matches with the feathers of her wings. So it just looks like a really cool cape, but it's actually just like an overthrow with her actual wings. So yeah, I just thought that was cool. I don't know if I cooked with this or not, but yeah, hope you guys like it. Yeah, here's just me quickly rendering the staff or the cane. I was thinking of doing it 2 sides, but I got lazy because I was in my TOK class. So here it is. I hope you guys like it. I added a little like ruby to it, and then I also wanted to draw out the earring because I just thought it was really cool. That's like something really spontaneous I came up with, but I don't know, I just really liked it. So I was like, okay, there's a little bit space. And then here is the full reference sheet. Yippee! Okay, moving on. So I was gonna end the video here, but I really wanted to have a drawing of her kind of interacting with something. So I went with this kind of reflecting on your past life, and it's her with like a swan skull in her hand, to kind of show how she has been reborn, but she also kind of lost this part of herself. In my head, like, avian magicians have a very close bond to the animals that they practice magic with. So it is kind of sad if you lose that part of your identity and kind of reflect on it. But yeah. So here's me figuring out the sketch. It is a very quick drawing. It took me maybe like an hour and a half. So it might not be the most, polished. But I think it brings the point across, which is what was important to me with this. And also helped me figure out a little bit of like layering her clothing. I need a lot of practice in drawing side profiles, but we're getting there. Editing Zoe here. Speaking of side profiles, I woke up the next day and looked at it because I was going to export it to my iPad. And yeah, that looked ass. So shout out to my friends for helping me figure out the side profile. I spent like more time refining the face and like fixing mistakes than I did actually like painting the piece, which is really annoying. But yeah, you can see me draw over it a bunch of times. So like at some point my friend did like a draw over and I had to like import the draw over and it still looked wrong. So yeah, future video ideas, Zoe learning how to draw side profiles. Anyways, but yeah, here's me finishing it up. I really had this idea of like adding very strong rim lighting to it, which is why I put the window in the back. I was gonna add a table, but it looked really weird. So yeah, here's me adding the rim lighting, and the drawing is pretty much done. If you want to see like the full thing without me talking over it, it's on my Instagram and on my Twitter, so feel free to go over. And yeah, that's it. Wow, 18 minutes of me rambling. That's crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or feedback or anything, please let me know in the comments. If you have any video requests, suggestions, you can also leave those in the comments. Oh, I'm on VGen now if you guys want to commission me. Links in bio. No, wait. Links in description. That's a YouTube term. So yeah, that is all. Thank you so much for watching and see you soon.